Hey, this is John from StubGroup. We're an agency that delivers profit-focused digital marketing, and we are also a premier Google partner, and we've helped thousands of businesses fix Google suspension issues and stay compliant with Google's policies. And let's talk about some policies today. So specifically, let's talk about Google verification. Now, Google verification is kind of this unique aspect of Google that is not exactly the same as policy suspensions you'll see for things like circumventing systems or suspicious payments or unacceptable business practices, but it still is something that can stop your ads from running and prevent your ads from running until you fix the issue. Sometimes they're really easy to go through, sometimes they're really difficult, and if you're here, you may just be looking to get information as much as possible before you go through the process, or you may have already gone through this process and have hit a roadblock. And this video is for both of you, whatever situation you're in right now. So let's first talk about the different types of Google verification. You have advertiser verification, you have business operations verification, and you have something that's called advanced verification that most businesses don't have to worry about. But we'll talk about each of these. We'll spend most of our time on advertiser verification and business operations verification. Now, why does Google have these things? They have them because they're trying to make advertising as transparent as possible, as far as covering themselves, I would say, and as far as trying to make it clear who is running specific ads. So right now, if you see an ad on Google, let's say you go search for something, you see an ad come up, you have the option to click on a portion of that ad and to see the name of the advertiser who is running that ad, to see their business name. That information comes from the advertiser verification that Google requires accounts to do. Now, not every single ad account at this point has had to go through advertiser verification. It is still something that has not been required of all accounts. It's something that Google often rolls out. And so what will happen is you'll get an email from Google saying, hey, you've got to go through advertiser verification, and you usually have a month in which to do it. If you don't do it or don't do it successfully within that month, then your ads are paused until you do it. So what is advertiser verification? Very simply, it is really, there's two aspects to it. You upload business documentation to Google. So this could be something like articles of incorporation. It could be a formation of LLC. It could be something from your state that they accept. It could be something from the IRS that they accept. They have a bullet point list of different types of documents that they'll accept. But it essentially is confirming the name of your business, the legal name, and the address of your business, and confirming that you have a legitimate business. And this is if you are a business. You can run ads as an individual on Google, in which case you don't have to upload business documentation, but you have to upload your personal documentation, which also is something that you have to upload as part of advertiser verification if you're a business. So if you're a business, you first go with your business documentation, and then you go with your photo ID. So this could be driver's license, this could be passport, a couple other options, but those are the primary things. And so you upload those things to Google to prove that you're a legitimate business and that there's a real person as part of things. And assuming that information checks out, Google says, great, you're good to go. And then that business name that's in your business documentation is what will appear in your ads. One common question people ask is whether or not the address that they provide in advertiser verification shows up in the ads. They might, for many reasons, not want their physical address to appear. And the answer to that is that the address does not show in advertiser verification. It's just the business name, or if you verified as an individual, it would be the individual's name. So this is by far the easier one of the Google verifications, and many businesses stop right here, or I should say Google doesn't require them to go further. Once they go through advertiser verification, you're good to go. But if you're one of the lucky ones that gets selected for business operations verification, you're in for a much more involved process. Business operations verification is the way that you work through it is a form that Google provides that has a bunch of questions on it. And you'll also quickly learn as you go through the form that when you answer one question, it creates more questions. So Google says it takes about 20 minutes to go through it. I would say for most businesses who've never gone through it before, it takes longer than that. It can take 20 minutes even for experienced people to go through who've done it many, many times. And essentially what Google is doing is they are asking a bunch of information about your business, about how you're registered, about how you operate, about how you work with clients, about who's held responsible if things go wrong. There's a bunch of different questions. And unfortunately, the questions are frankly poorly worded and often repetitive and confusing. It's kind of mind-boggling to me, to be honest, just how poorly this form is constructed, because you'll get into it. If you're doing this, you'll see it. If you've done it, you've already probably gone through this. But there's so many fields where it's like, well, what exactly are they asking here? Do they want my business name? Do they want my personal name? Or why are they asking this again? I've already answered this thing like 3 times. Is this really the same question again? Do I answer the same way again? All sorts of things like that. And so it's not uncommon for businesses to hire StubGroup to help them with this, because they can hit a roadblock where they're just not really sure how to fill it out, or maybe they've taken their best shot at filling it out, but they've been rejected by Google. Google will come back and say, hey, there's things that don't match, there's things that are a problem, and so their ads are paused, or they're going to be paused because they haven't successfully completed business operations verification. And so we have a lot of success because we've done this so many times. We understand what the questions mean, what Google's looking for, how to best word your answers in such a way that Google is going to understand what you're communicating, that you're sharing enough information, but not too much so you're confusing them, you're providing the right documentation, and so forth. And so if you need help with that, please reach out. We'd love to help you. So those are the 2 primary types of Google verification. Now, advanced verification is something that there are some industries like locksmiths, for example, who are required to go through a more advanced verification. Often this is industries where there's a lot of kind of sensitive physical contact. Obviously, locksmiths being a good example. You are meeting in person with people and you are changing their locks. You're getting into their house or their cars or things like that. And there's a lot of bad actors in this space. There's been a lot of history of litigation and spam and concerning things. And so Google has, for that space, as well as some other spaces, put these more advanced verification requirements in place where you have to provide more advanced documentation to Google, more information about your legitimacy, how you operate, sometimes insurance documents, things like that, to make sure that Google is comfortable with you being a legitimate business who should be a part of Google's ecosystem. So that's the state of verifications in 2025. I've made videos about this before, but they change things all the time. So I wanted to give a new, fresh, updated video about where things are at in 2025, and we'll continue to release content as Google changes. And again, if you need help with any verifications or other Google Ads issues, please reach out to stubgroup.com. We'd love to help. Until next time, take care.